These photographs were taken by a photographer who I had in place outside of the LeMarque's attorney's office. We're having cappuccino and coffee here. They're discussing the money that they'd like to make off this deal.
Another couple, Stella and Philippe LeMarque, would emerge as key witnesses in the Jackson investigation. Their stories of child abuse reached the cops by happenstance, as a spin-off to a tabloid story. This French couple worked for Jackson for 2 years, until 1991. When the scandal broke, they turned to their friend, Paul Barresi, a former porn star who claimed he'd once made 100 grand selling a story to the Inquirer.
My interest in helping them was that they promised me a percentage of what they got. I was not on any kind of crusade to bring anyone to justice, and whether Michael was guilty or innocent at that point was inconsequential. My interest was strictly for the money, as was their interest too, I might add.
Our job was to go to our various markets around the world and say, look, we have this couple, they are willing to say this, how much are you prepared to pay?
Kevin Smith was one reporter bidding for the LeMarque story. His role was to find the foreign money.
So you'll have, say, Australia will say, we've got $20,000. For them, it's quite a cheap story. I mean, they've got a cracking story for $20,000. But that's not enough alone to tempt someone like the LeMarques to sell their story. So then you go to Germany, you get another 20,000. You go to Italy, another 20,000. Before you know it, you're up $200,000, and that is enough for a family to come forward and talk.
When are they going to talk? How long are they going to hang on for? You know, obviously more and more is going to come out, and it's just going to steal their thunder and devalue, you know, the extra that they've got to say. You know, I mean, already the Quindoys have somewhat stolen their thunder. The fact is, the quality of the tape is awful, and because the couple have French accents, it's even more difficult. I mean, $500,000. That's, you know, the amount is ridiculous. $20,000.
Originally, it was 100,000, and when very quickly we managed to find 100,000 and say, okay, let's go with it. I think they must have thought, well, if that's so easy, let's try for a bit more. And then it kept going like this until it got to, yeah, $500,000.
We met, Stella, Philippe, myself, and this correspondent from Inside Edition. By then, I had heard the story probably a half a dozen times. And the only difference is this time I had a tape recorder in my belt. I wanted to seize an opportunity to sell their story myself. Monday morning, I got up, and I realized what I wanted to do with the tape. I wanted to take it to the district attorney's office and turn it over to them as evidence. I knew that the DA would be happy to receive the information with open arms, and two, I knew how to play the tabloids like a harp.
If Barresi brought the tape to the DA, he'd have nothing to fear for his illegal tape recording. Besides, it would juice up the story. If the DA's working on it, that's action. That's inside information.
That was the edge that worked well. If my story appeared in the slightest innocuous, they would throw it out the window. So this is one way to do it with grand style, certainly. So I called the editor at the Globe, and I said, I have a tape. I'm on the way downtown to hand it to the district attorney. And his words were, let us come with you. And then I knew I had him. The next thought in my mind was, I'm going to ask for $30,000. She always asks twice as much as what you hope to get. He put me on hold, and within less than a minute, he came back and he said, well, we can't give you 30, we'll give you 10. I said, make it 15. He said, you have a deal.
Could you see the headline coming?
Oh, yeah, sure. And I could see that money coming, too.
Barresi didn't stop with the Globe. When Splash News retailed his story to London's Sunday Mirror, Barresi showed up at their office with a gun.
Right here?
Splash quickly arranged for him a $1,000 check.
This is the $1,000 check I received from the Mirror Group after having that hassle with Kevin Smith.
Illegal tapes, stolen documents, unregistered handguns. Tabloid truth is a rough commerce, as the cops were well aware. They were chasing the tabs, too.
A lot of people who claim to have witnessed Jackson doing this, that, or the other, they weren't going to the police first. Their main interest was money, and they were coming to journalists who could give them money.
When the Geordie Chandler scandal hit, Barresi started in the anti-Jackson camp. He was approached by Jackson's cook and cleaner, Stella and Philippe LeMarque, with a story to sell.
He said, look, we saw Jackson molesting Macaulay Culkin. Well, what did he do? We saw him groping Macaulay Culkin over his pants. They said, we want 100 grand. I got him 100,000 on the table, cash, from the Inquirer. It took me 3 days to do it, but by then they met an attorney and said, look, I can get you $500,000. Forget about Barresi. And this time they said that they saw Michael Jackson not groping Macaulay Culkin outside the pants, but the hand went inside the pants now.
The story had got better.
The story they embellished and they lied, you know. They just lied, flat out lied.
Yeah.
And I recorded it.